Top of the morning to you, YouTubeverse. It is very early. We are outside, and we are doing another Mr. and Mrs. Life cast, a food cast, because we're going to be going over the use of a propane smoker and some tips on how to try and get the best results when you're smoking a big piece of meat. I'm the Mr.
I'm the Mrs.
And we have here, I'm going to show you my vertical smoker. It's got 4 different shelves so you can smoke different pieces of meat at once. Today I'm going to be smoking some kielbasa and a 5-pound pork shoulder. So you'll want to be on the lookout for the other video we're going to be doing today with the pork shoulder. We'll be showing you the prep and all the tips to try and get the best results and the best tasting meat, and do it in the quickest, most efficient way. We're going to be showing you some quick, efficient little tips and tricks to try and get the best results from your smoker. So what we're going to do right now is, the first thing we're going to do is we've already hooked up the propane tank. And the next thing you've got to do is we've got to get the pan out that holds the wood chips. We use wood chips. Some people use chunks of wood or all kinds of other stuff, but we do wood chips, and we're going to show you that right now. So let's go inside. And what we're going to do first is we're going to get our wood chips out. All right, so just 1 second, we're going to get out some wood chips now. A lot of people fixate about what type of chips to use for what type of meat. You know, there's all kinds. There's apple, pecan, whiskey, hickory. What we're going to do, though, what we like to do, is we like to do a mix of 3 different kinds. All right, so we've got apple, hickory, and I've got some Jack Daniel's whiskey. These are a bit more expensive, but I really like it, so we paid the extra money for them. What we're gonna do here also, I'm not gonna empty the ash because there's still some good chips here that haven't been fully burned up, and we don't like to waste. So we're just gonna use what we already had, the burnt ones, and we're going to put some more on top. So we're just gonna put a little bit of each of these. So we've got some hickory, we got some apple, and then a little bit of the Jack Daniel's special whiskey. And there you go.
We're going to wet it a little bit, right? Mm-hmm.
And what's it time for, Mrs.?
It is time for time hack.
And what we're going to do is, like the Mrs. was alluding to, we're going to soak the wood chips. I tell people always do it. Use some cold water. This is something you do because it's going to make the chips last longer, and it's going to let your smoke, last longer as well, because you don't want to run out of these chips halfway through smoking, and then you got to come take it out, which this thing is going to be really hot. I mean, if you take this out straight up while the heat is on, it'll literally burn like a towel. So you want to make sure you've got enough to make it through. So here we go. We're gonna soak this, wet it a bit. Now, as you can see, don't be scared to get a little bit of water there, a little bit of water in the bottom. You just really want this to last. Don't be scared. It's all going to dry out as the heating process is going on. And I'm just going to kind of soak them a little bit just to make sure it's really soaked. You want those chips really wet. Now, the trade-off is it is going to take a little bit longer for your smoke to start forming in the smoker, but it's going to make it last longer, and it's going to prolong the smoke, give you a nice, even, prolonged smoke, and not burn out your chips too quick. So here we go. And we're going to put this back in the smoker. at the very bottom of it. And then we're going to close up the door. And then we're going to close up the other top door. Another thing I did when I was building the smoker and putting it together, you can see right here, these are little weather strips. I would tell anybody that's putting together a new smoker, get these weather strips, cut them to fit, you know, the sides, and put it all around, because that is going to keep smoke from escaping. You want the smoke on the meat not going out into the air. So this is a big thing there you want to do. The other thing, as you can see over here, you got these vents. You want to keep them closed, but not all the way closed. Just a tight little creek, a little space there, just a little bit to let air, because you obviously need air to keep fire going. Also back here, this one in the back I keep pretty much completely shut, so you just want a little bit of air to get in and out. But for the most part, you want to keep that smoke in the smoker, because that's what's getting on your meat. Now here's the next thing. You got to take into account the temperature. Right now, today in Florida, we're in Florida, it's Super Bowl Sunday. It's going to be 80 degrees today. So right now it's probably almost 70 as we speak. That's a factor. 2 weeks ago when it was 40 degrees out, wasn't a factor at all. But that's how you determine how much heat you're going to give. As you can see right here, that's the dial that controls the heat. On a day like today, what you're going to do is we're going to leave the heat all the way up just to get the smoker going, to get the heat and the smoke started. But once this temperature dial here starts moving, then I'm going to turn this down to probably about all the way down to about a quarter of a way low. We want to almost all the way down to the lowest, but just a little bit above, because if you keep it to the lowest, you may lose your flame. So you're going to keep this dial pretty low on a hot day like today, because one of the keys to smoking is you want to keep this temperature at under 300. Now, there's some people that get fixated about, trying to keep it at 200 to 225. My experience shows me you don't need to be obsessed with that. The biggest thing is keep it under 300. Don't let it get over that 300 degree mark on your smoker temperature, and you will still get very good meat. It will help, if you can keep it at 275, it won't take the longest time needed to smoke, but at the same time, it also, it won't affect the flavor of your meat. You'll still get plenty of smoke. The smoke will still be coming out of this thing. It's not gonna affect getting a nice smoke flavor, but at the same time, you don't have to be crazy about it, worrying about keeping it around 200. You've got a little bit of wiggle room there. So Mrs. is gonna take the camera and we're gonna start this thing up. Now, another key on a day like today, right here, looking at the gauge, is one of the other tricks, and this is a time saver, so.
Time hack.
We're gonna tell you right now, one of the big things you can do to keep this temperature from getting too high, because that is a concern on a day like today in Florida, say for instance, where it's 80 degrees, is you want to just turn this knob to get where you're letting the propane in. Your propane knob, you want to just turn it ever so slightly, like this. You see, just a very slight click. Don't go turning it all the way over, because one of the keys to keeping the temperature down is keeping your input of propane low. That's going to help keep the temperature from getting too hot. Again, this is not a concern if it was a cold day out here, it was like 40 degrees like it's been here. But when it's a day like today where it's going to be 80 degrees, this is a key factor. Now again, right here, we're going to crank this up, and then I got to kind of kickstart it here with this button. There you see, you got to be careful.
There's the fire.
Yeah, you got to be careful because it's a big boom that comes out. So again, we're going to let this thing start going at full blast just till this needle starts moving up towards 200 degrees. And then when this starts getting up, over 100, 150, you would come back out and you would turn this down to low. Not all the way low, but just a couple of clicks from being at the lowest. And that'll give you, that'll make this thing not go over 300, but still be over 200. Just get in that 200 to 300 range. Don't have to really be too concerned about whether it stays at 200 or 225. Just keep it between 200 and 300, and you'll have a great smoke coming out. and it'll last throughout until the meat is done. So that's what we're gonna do here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go in and start prepping the meat. So please come watch our other video where we're actually going to do the pork shoulder meat and the kielbasa and prep it. And then we're gonna come back out here and we're gonna do another part where we do the finished product, where we're taking the meat out and we're, you know, getting it ready. We're gonna do hybrid technique where we do part of it here in the smoker and part of it in the oven to finish it off. So we'll be coming back to you, but please like, subscribe, and comment on our video. And we hope this helped you. And we just want to get you guys efficiently and quickly getting the best meat, smoked meat possible. Thank you.